Yes, hello, test, test. We should be live by now. The webinar is going to start at 5 minutes. So just a little bit earlier to check everything is working. Let me know if you are here, if you can hear me, if you can see me. Everything is fine. So we can get started in a few minutes from now. Hello, everyone. At the moment, I'm talking to you from the Netherlands, actually visiting my parents here for a few days. Tomorrow, I have a wedding of one of my best friends here in the Netherlands. So, yeah, that's why I'm spending a few days here. And today, I'm going to talk with you guys about what the best way is to learn a language from scratch. How do we do that? A language boost? Well, that's what we're going to reveal with you today. It's 4 to 7 p.m. at the moment here. That's Amsterdam time zone. So it means that we're going to get started in 4 minutes from now. If you're here and you can hear and see me, make sure that you leave a comment in the chat function. In 4 minutes. Yes, Frank says, so bon, I can hear you. Okay, well, that means that the technology is not leaving me, not letting me down this time. 3 minutes to go. Again, hello everyone. For everyone who's just arriving, hello from Virginia. Picture and sound are good. Thank you for letting me know, Caroline. Who else is there? We have 15 people watching at the moment. I announced to our mailing list that we're going to start in 4 minutes. No, sorry, at 7 p.m. That's in 3 minutes from now. So I think that most people still have to arrive. But thank you guys for arriving early. Yeah, let me know, where are you from? And I'm also curious to know, like, why are you following Language Boost? Always good to get some feedback, to know what you guys like, what you guys maybe don't like, what kind of videos that you guys want to see more in the future. Bom dia, galera. Francisco says, bom dia, or boa noite in this case. Lillian, Taiwan, ni hao, Lillian. 晚上好. In Taiwan, it should be like, I guess it's already 1 a.m., right? 1 a.m. in the morning. So we have people from all over the world. That's a nice thing about having a YouTube channel. Lillian says ni hao. Okay, well, we have 2 minutes left. 还有2分钟. Good evening from you from Watford, England. Hello, Mark. Welcome to the live stream. Which language do we have represented here? We have English speakers, Portuguese, we have some Chinese. What else do we have? Want to make sure that I greet everyone in his or her native language. Lillian says, yes, it's 1 a.m. midnight. Yeah, that's you know, I used to live in China, and it's either 6 or 7 hours time difference here, so that's why I remembered. Okay, that's the language. Is that Farsi or Arabic? I'm not sure, but I think it's Farsi. I don't know why. Okay, I met you through your Thai videos with Ollie Riches. I was with Ollie last week in Spain. So yeah, we do every year. We do like this trip. We go to a country and we do an attempt to learn a new language. We did Thai. Oh, it's Arabic. I'm sorry. I don't know why I thought it was Farsi. I took a look at SMU Farsi a few weeks ago, and I just thought it was. I know the alphabet is very similar, but it's so similar that I can't see the difference, at least. Okay. Oh, yes. It's 7 p.m. here in the Netherlands. It's, well, most of you guys are in another time zone, So good morning, good afternoon, good evening. And thanks for joining me today in the webinar. Today, we're going to talk about learning Spanish, French, or Italian from scratch. Now, today I'm going to share with you a methodology. That's a methodology that we use at Language Boost. We use this methodology ourselves in order to learn languages quickly, but we also use this with our students. And, this methodology is, you can basically apply this methodology to lots of languages, not just Spanish, French, and Italian. But in this webinar today, I'm just going to give you specific examples in those 3 languages. First of all, an announcement. Today, I announced to our mailing list that I'm actually going to learn a new language next month. May, I'm going to get started with Italian. And yeah, at Language Boost, we always want to learn languages quickly. And I'm going to share with you guys, with methodology I'm going to use. And that's basically also a Language Boost method that you can also use to learn Spanish, French, any language. So let's get started. Yeah, by the end of this presentation, I will answer some of your questions. Because I see many questions coming in. But yeah, first going to focus on the presentation. Afterwards, then feel free to ask me any questions. I can even try to answer them in your language, whatever your native language is. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen with you guys. I've prepared a presentation. Let me see. Share my screen. How does that work? I think I have to click here. Screen share. Okay. Let's get started. How do I full screen? How do I do full screen? Present, I guess. Yes, here we are. Okay, learning Spanish, French, and Italian from scratch. How do we do that at a Language Boost, and which techniques / methodology am I going to use for my next month? By the way, you can join me on this Learn Italian, and in this presentation, I'll tell you why. Together with me, you can actually take lessons with Lucas, with Language Boost Lucas. Yeah, this is me in Milan, a few years ago. And yeah, why am I giving this presentation all of a sudden today? The reason for that is that, as I just announced in the introduction, next month I'm going to learn a new foreign language. I'm very excited about it, and that's going to learn Italian. Now, personally, I go to Italy almost every year, spend at least a few days per year, I would say, in Italy. It's also a country where I used to go on a holiday since I'm a child, but I never learned the language. So I think that this is going to be fun. Of course, I'm going to share my progress and exactly how I'm going to learn Italian on our YouTube channel. So yeah, I hope that you guys are going to enjoy these videos. Now, speaking Italian or Spanish or French or any other language, I would say any other Romance language, after only 21 lesson hours, is that possible? Well, this all, of course, on the definition of speaking a language, right? What is speaking a language? Does that mean that you can introduce yourself, or that you can speak the language fluently and actually use this language for in your career, for example, or at work? Well, our definition here of speaking, or what we think is possible, what we know is possible in 21 hours. In 21 hours, to be able to become fluent. Becoming fluent in a new language often takes years, but you can do a lot in 21 hours. You definitely can be able to, or can reach a level at where you can actually hold conversations with real native speakers, real conversations with native speakers. Now, this doesn't mean that it's going to be, super smoothly, but in 21 hours, you can learn a lot if you focus on the right things. If you focus on the most important words, most important structures, you're actually going to be able to hold 10-minute conversations with native speakers. And that's also, of course, what I'm going to focus on. In the month of May, I'm going to take 21 lessons, 21 Italian lessons. And after those 21 lessons, I'm going to demonstrate, and not just me, we're also going to have more students who are going to join me, and you can actually join me as well. I will tell you later in this presentation how. About how how good we're going to be after 21 lessons. It's not the first time we do this. So is this possible? Yes, we have actually been doing these boost camps, as we call them, for the last year, 1.5 years, and we really see that people from all over the world, even like 50-year-old Russians, are actually able to hold conversations in, let's say, Spanish after one lessons hour with a native speaker, and they really started from scratch. A little bit more about this later. Now, let's talk a little bit about why are we in a rush? Why not just enjoy the learning process and start speaking, I don't know, after a year or after 2 years? Why should we put so much pressure on ourselves and start speaking the language after only 21 hours? Why? What's the whole meaning of this methodology? Well, I think, some people are really, they like to use, I would say, like they use an input focused, they focus on input, and other people focus on output. Input basically means that you learn lots of words, you learn lots of grammar, you learn the structure, you do a lot of reading, and you start only speaking after 1 or 2 years. While the output based method, and that's what we use here at Language Boost, we actually focus on learning a little bit, using what you've learned, learning a few more things, using what you've learned. So it's a methodology based on output. Why do we focus on output? Well, we think that most people fail at language learning because they actually never reach a stage at where they can hold conversations. They lose motivation, and eventually they give up. If you use an output based method, which basically means that you learn a little bit and you start immediately using what you have learned, every time when you are able to use new words in a conversation with a native speaker or with a teacher or with a friend, you're going to have this feeling of achievement. And without this feeling of achievement, I think it's going to be very difficult for most people to stay motivated and actually continue learning. And this is exactly one of the reasons why I also failed learning languages at school, and why I became pretty good at learning languages after I changed this, right? So my goal in this presentation today is that I want to make sure that by the end of the presentation, you have a clear idea about how you can become conversational in the new language that you want to learn in, let's say, 21 lessons hours, or in record time, faster than ever before. If you stay until the end, you can ask me some questions. I will answer your questions, and we can do that in your language. I can try to reply to your questions in your language, right? Okay, just a little bit about myself for the people who don't know me. My name is Jan van der A. I'm the guy on the left in this picture here. On the right, you can see Lucas Begetti, my friend and also co-founder of Language Boost. He's from Brazil. We have learned over 10 languages ourselves. Lucas even more than me. I think he speaks like 15. We are language coaches, and we regularly speak at language learning events. We also give workshops. Last year we did a tour in Russia where we gave workshops, actually teaching people how they can learn languages quickly. We actually show them our methodology, and I'm also going to show that today with you guys here in this webinar. So personally, we only this year we have already helped more than 100 people. Personally helped more than 100 people to speak a new language, and our methodology is based on 10 years of research, experimenting, testing, teaching, in-field practice, living in different countries. We have studied and tested most popular learning methods, and we've done a lot of testing. We've also interviewed. Well, we basically started learning, I would say, like 10 years ago or 8 years ago, when I started my language learning journey. I didn't know anything about learning foreign languages. I was not very good at it, but I thought just something very cool, to go to another place, another country, and be able to speak the local language. So it started learning from world's most successful polyglots, and you might recognize some of the faces here. Picture on the top, that's with Tim Donor. If you Google his name in YouTube, I think at the time he was only like 16 or 17 years old, already spoke 20 languages. He got pretty famous in the States, actually worldwide, but he was featured on many television shows in the States. Then on the top, on the right, that's with Luca Lampariello, very famous polyglot from Italy, very talented, speaks like 8 languages at a C level. Well, of course, here in the middle, on the bottom, you can see me with Benny Lewis, the founder of Fluent in 3 months, Richard Samcott and Alex Rawlings are there on the right. So traveled with these guys, did interviews with them, share these interviews with you guys on our YouTube channel, and we basically learned how they could learn so many languages and implemented these techniques in our own learning methods. Okay, as I said, I've been running a translation business actually for the last 6 years, which allowed me to work online, and therefore I have been able to work basically from anywhere I wanted. And over the last 8 years, over the last 10 years, I would say, I traveled to 105 countries. I also lived in a few countries, like I spent more than 3 months in countries like Morocco, Indonesia, China, Brazil, even in Morocco, Belgium. So it has been a pretty quite exciting journey, and we have put all the lessons that we have learned on this traveling journey, language learning journey, put it all together in a methodology that we use at Language Boost. These are the languages that I speak, and you can also see the languages that Luca speaks. He speaks lots of Slavic languages. Okay, so over the last 8 years, we've done lots of things right. We managed to learn difficult languages like Lucas has been very successful at learning Russian. I managed to learn languages like Chinese pretty quickly, but we have also failed. I failed at learning Japanese. I failed at learning Spanish 8 years ago. Even when I was at high school, my English teacher recommended me to never choose a career for which English was involved, because I was super bad at foreign languages. Well, today I'm doing quite the opposite. I'm working in English almost every day. I'm giving this webinar in English, and besides English, also use almost all the other languages for work, but also traveling all around the world. Of course, we have business partners in Russia. Our meetings are in Russian. Now, we do not speak Russian all the time, but really we really manage to use all these languages in our daily lives, right? I live in Belgium, in Brussels, where French is spoken. There have been different times. We have failed, but we have also succeeded. So after doing this for more than 10 years, we came to the conclusion that you don't have to wait for months or even years to speak a new language, that learning thousands of words and grammar in the beginning is often why most people don't succeed in learning a language. and that it's not about how much you know about the language. It's about being able to make combinations with the things that you know. This presentation will give you a few more details. We'll explain what I mean with these conclusions. Now, let me first tell you how traditional courses work. Ever if you ever taken part in a language course, or if you have learned languages at school, then this might all look very familiar. So often you start learning the greetings. Now you learn 25 words, but you're still not able to make your own sentences, right? Lesson number 2, you learn the alphabet. Well, depending on what language that you are learning, of course. Then you learn names of the animals. Also, websites like Duolingo and many other popular language learning apps, they use these principles. So now you know 50 words in total, but still you're not going to be able to make any combinations. Lesson number 4, clothing. Always interesting, right? Now you know 75 words, you're still not able to make any sentences. Let's add the colors to that. 100 words, no sentences. The professions, you know, etc., etc. The numbers, and of course the grammar on top of it. In the end, you know lots of words, but you're still not able to say anything because you haven't learned how to make sentences, even if you have studied the grammar. Like this, the only way to become really good at speaking is by actually speaking. Unfortunately, in the traditional school system, we don't focus enough on speaking. So if you want a better way that does not make you fall asleep and that actually works, then keep paying attention, because today I'm going to show you how we learn languages, a language boost, how our students manage to become conversational in 21 hours, and also the methodology that I'm going to use for my Italian learning mission next month. Yeah. Before I continue, you know, just imagine, what if you could speak your target language? How would it change your life? This is actually one of the questions that I always ask myself before I start, because if I can't find a good answer to this question, then I'm probably just wasting my time. I mean, yeah, learning a language can be a fun activity, of course, but actually we want to do something with it, right? Yeah, so answer this question for yourself. How would it change your life? How would it make your life better? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments which language you are learning and how is it going to change my life. I know, for example, that learning Italian is going to make my life much more fun living in Brussels. There's lots of Italian living there. I like going to Italian restaurants. I have a good friend in Brussels who is Italian that I meet. So now and then for a language exchange. And of course, you go to Italy almost every year. Yeah, and then just think it's going to be very cool to be able to finally speak Italian. Okay, I don't know why the slide is here, but these are some of the students who learned a foreign language with us last year. We have students from all over the world: Brazil, Russia, the Netherlands, and France, from Spain, lots from the States, of course, from different age groups. Now, today I'm going to share with you 3 secrets that you can use in order to learn a language from scratch. Secret number 1, applying the 20-80 rule in language learning, the powerful ability to make combinations, and why most people don't succeed in learning a foreign language, and how you can actually succeed in learning a foreign language. So, secret number 1, 80-20 rule. And if you have been following Language Boo for a while now, you probably know how this works. In many languages, for example, in English, Spanish, French, but also Italian, you only need to know 2.5% of the vocabulary to speak 95% of the conversational language. So the 80-20 rule basically states that 80% of the 20% of the input results in 80% of the output. Now, in language learning, this ratio is even more extreme. It's more like the 2.5/95% principle, because if you only know this 2.5%, you can actually already speak the language, because even native speakers only use this 2.5% basically. So the question that we ask ourselves is, how can we learn a language only focusing on this 2.5% in the beginning, of course. No, once you're fluent, once you have a very rich vocabulary, of course, you can focus on the remaining 5%. But in the beginning, if you want to make quick progress from the beginning, it's really crucial to focus on this 2.5%, to only focus on the most important vocabulary. Now, here's just an example of 100 handpicked word by us that we think are very important when you start learning a new language. If you know these 100 words, you can already make many sentences. Let's just try to make a few sentences only using the words that you can see here. And I haven't really prepared this, so I'm just going to give it a try. Hello, what's up? Do you speak English? No, sorry. Please say that again. What did you say? Do you like pizza? Do you want to learn English? Why do you want to learn English? I want to learn English because I want to what? Because I want to go to England. Now, England is a missing word here, but that's it's a pretty particular word, easy to learn. If you only know these 100 words, you're not going to be able, of course, to hold 10-minute conversations, but you're going to be able to say a lot of things. And actually, a little bit later in this webinar, I'm going to demonstrate how many things that you actually going to be able to say with very limited vocabulary. So it's a little bit like Bruce Lee said, I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. And we apply the same principle in language learning. We only focus on the most important vocabulary. We practice this vocabulary a lot. We make lots of sentences, and that's actually much more powerful than learning a language for years, knowing all the words, knowing the grammar structures, but not having enough practice. Okay, secret number 2, the powerful ability to make combinations with what you know. What does that mean? At school, you often learn a lot of things about the language, the grammar, lots of words. But by the time when I, for example, graduated, I wasn't able to say anything in English. I knew all these words, but I'd never had to. I never used the language basically. It never let me practice my speaking. That's also what you often see, like in countries like Russia, Japan, and China. Like those people have been learning English for, I don't know, 10, 15 years, like from a very young age. And yet, by the time they graduate, they're not able to hold a conversation. They're not going to be able to say anything because they focused on learning a lot of things, but they didn't focus on actually using what they have learned. So where at school or using traditional methods, you focus on quantity. We actually focus on being able to use what you have learned. A little bit like Bruce Lee said. Now, we have created this methodology called sentence builders, where we actually focus on making combinations with the things that you know. Now, here in this presentation today, I'm going to give you a few examples for Spanish. But yeah, some others are also interested in French or Italian. I might give you a few examples of those languages as well, but in the slide I've only prepared Spanish, right? So, question for you guys: how do you say "I" in Spanish? I is an important word, right? So I in Spanish is yo, right? Now, in French, does anyone know? Je. And in Italian, I don't speak Italian yet, but I happen to know how to say I in Italian as well as io, right? Now, you know one word, still cannot make any combinations. What about you? How do you say you in your target language? In Spanish is tú. Now, 2 words, still not able to make any combinations. Now, how do you say and in your target language? In Spanish, it's y. So, me and you, yo y tú. Okay? 3 words, we can already make one combination. This is the word to want. How do you say to want in your target language? In Spanish, it's querer. Querer. Okay? In French, vouloir. And in Italian, volere, I think. But I'm not going to teach you Italian today because that's a language that I have to learn myself. Now, we have to learn how to conjugate the verb. Just giving you these examples to give an idea, to give you an idea about how this methodology works, right? And how powerful it is to actually focus on combinations instead of learning vocabulary. So, I in Spanish was yo, right? To want, querer. I want, you have to conjugate the verb, actually becomes yo plus querer becomes yo quiero. In French, je veux, I want. What about you want? It's not tú querer, it's not tú querer, it's tú quieres. Tú quieres, right? In French, tu veux. These are the words that we have learned so far. Yo, tú, y. Yo y tú, querer, yo quiero, y tú quieres. And now we can already start making our first sentences. We only know, what, 5 words, and we can already say I want and you want. Yo quiero y tú quieres. In French, je veux et tu veux. 4 words, we can already make 4 combinations. You see how this number of combinations is growing very quickly. Now, how to make, sorry for that, how to say no in Spanish. Very similar, no. Not no, but no. Very short, no. Now, you know 5 words, but you can already make 10 combinations. So the number of combinations all of a sudden doubled. Let me show you why that is. So I want was yo quiero, right? What about I don't want? Yo no quiero. In French, they say ne pas. And then they put the verb in the middle. So je veux, I want. Je ne veux pas, I don't want. And all of a sudden you can make sentences like I don't want, and you want, I don't want, and you don't want. So the number of combinations rises very quickly. Next word, to work. In Spanish, trabajar. In French, travailler. In Italian, lavorare, if I'm not mistaken, at least for the Italian one. 6 words already can make 20 combinations. Just let me, so how would you say, for example, I want to work in your target language? In Spanish, je veux travailler. Sorry, in French, je veux travailler. In Spanish, yo quiero trabajar. And in Italian, io voglio lavorare. Right, so by adding 1 word, like now you can make sentences like I want to work, I don't want to work, you want to work, you don't want to work, I want to work and you don't want to work, I want to work and you want to work, I don't want to work, you don't. You know, you see this number of combinations is rising very quickly, and by actually, you know, focusing on output, focusing on making these combinations, you really train your brain to become very good at creating output, to become very good at speaking. So using this methodology, if you do this for 21 hours, and you have like a teacher who does these drills exercises with you, you're actually going to be very surprised about how much you're going to be able to say after only 21 lesson hours. Just a few more examples. Let's add the word for to learn, estudiar. So how would you say in your target language, I want to learn? In Spanish, yo quiero estudiar. I want to learn Spanish. Spanish is español. Yo quiero estudiar español. In French, je veux étudier le français. Voglio imparare italiano. And then you can add words like donde, which means where, of course. In French, it's où. Now you can say words like where do you want to work? Where do you want to study? So how would you say in your target language, where do you want to study? Spanish? ¿Dónde tú quieres? Or just ¿dónde quieres estudiar español? Right? Où, in French, où is where. Où est-ce que tu veux étudier le français? Where do you want to learn French? So we really start with the most important vocabulary, and then we practice these new words in sentences all the time, and then slowly we start adding new words and new grammar structures, and that way you're going to be able to actually know what you've learned. And that's something that you don't learn in traditional courses. I have a few more examples here. I'm not sure, I think you guys have an idea about how it works, but even you see that after 9 words you're already going to be able to learn 70 combinations. Now in the first 21 hours in our courses, which by the way I'm also going to use for my Italian, of course, you learn like 300 words. So imagine how many combinations you can make with 300 words if you can already make 70 sentences with 9 words, right? And that's basically one of the secrets why it's possible to hold 10-minute conversation with native speakers after only 21 lesson hours. So it's not so much about the number of words you know, it's about becoming able to make combinations, right? It's all about combinations. So secret number 1 was only focusing on the most important vocabulary. Secret number 2, focusing on combinations. Now, why do most people not succeed in learning a foreign language? Answer is easier than you might think. They stop or they never start. It's that easy. Now, why do people stop? They become overwhelmed. It's too difficult. They use motivation. And that's exactly what my next point is going to be. You need the motivation. And that's why I was asking you this question in the beginning of this webinar. Why, how would your life look like if you could speak your target language? How would it make your life better? This is your motivation. Maybe you feel attached to a certain culture or a certain person who speaks this language. Like you need to have either a connection or this motivation. Now, so it's very important to have this clear vision. Then, of course, it's also important to set goals for yourself. So not just set a big goal saying, I want to become fluent in whatever language, in Spanish, but instead you can say, I want to learn, you need to set mini goals for yourself. So a mini goal could be learning the 100 most important words in Spanish, or holding a 10-minute conversation, you see, because every time you reach a mini goal, you get like this feeling of achievement. You see that you're getting better, you see your progress, the results are very clear, and that actually is going to give you more motivation. Accountability is also very important. So you can try to learn a language by your own. On your own, but can be boring. Of course, you're much more likely to achieve your goals if you learn in a group. And then, of course, there's also the time problem. People always find excuses. No, sorry, yeah, I was really motivated to learn Spanish, but I couldn't find the time now. So what would it be like? Ask yourself the question, how is it going to make your life better? Set mini goals for yourself. Make quick progress in the beginning. So that's exactly what we do in our boot camps. Quick progress motivates. Schedule lessons in advance. So not just, book a lesson whenever you feel like learning or taking a lesson. No, just buy a whole package. Sign up for a full course, or schedule lessons in advance so that you have this personal commitment to someone. And don't do it alone. Do it in a group with like-minded people. Now, what if? What if you could learn Italian with me? And actually you can, because I'm going to invite you. But what if you don't have to learn a long list of irrelevant vocabulary? If you could focus on the 2.5% that really matters. If you had a teacher who actually trained you to make these combinations, as I was just doing with you in the examples. If you could learn with others in small groups online, if you could focus on speaking, learning by speaking, and if you could hold conversations in French or your target language in only 7 weeks, basically 21 lesson hours. How cool would that be? And guys, it's really possible. We have seen this over and over again on our website. Like you can see testimonials of or examples of people of our students speaking after only 21 lessons. We are actually starting new boot camps for Spanish, Italian, and French next month. I'm gonna take part in the Italian boot camp myself as well, so you can join me there. There's 2 or 3 lessons per week, depending on the language. 1 hour per lesson. Live lessons on Google Hangouts. The lessons are going to be live. You're going to be able to watch Lucas, Language Boost Lucas, my colleague, teaching students. You're going to have all the materials as well. So, yeah, we're going to invite you to join us in these boot camps. The focus is on speaking. We focus on output, not like traditional language learning courses and schools on boring grammar, lots of irrelevant words. No, we are actually gonna speak. So what you're gonna get? 21 highly effective online lessons. Ebook. You're also gonna get all the materials, the ebook with a vocabulary, sentence builders, with example sentences with a vocabulary that you learn in the course, MP3s with native recordings. And why not do this? Why not invest? Of course, if you have the budget, why not invest in a skill? Why not invest in yourself? So often we waste money on useless things. Why not invest it in yourself? Who is this bootcamp for? Boostcamp, I should say. Well, for beginners who want to learn a new language from scratch, and really for those who want to be able to speak, who want to see results. If you're a beginner and you want to see quick results, then this bootcamp is for you. I will send you a link in the next slides where you can see few of our students and where you can see some of the results. Like here is Aliek from Russia, 55 years old. He was in this video, he's holding a 10-minute conversation in Spanish. It really started from scratch. Very impressive. Then we have Leandro from Brazil, who was speaking very good French after 21 hours. Of course, Brazilian Portuguese, his native language, is more similar to French. It's easier for him than for Aliek here, our Russian friend, learning Spanish, of course. But he was doing a very good job. I also use this methodology, learning Thai in 21 days. 2 years ago, I shared these videos with you guys on our YouTube channel. And here we also have Iguan, a friend from Taiwan who learned German in 21 hours. Now, one of our students, Miko, he said, here in Finland, we have the best education system in the world, but learning Spanish in this bootcamp feels like a total new experience. I never thought that I could learn a new language so fast. What you're going to get? 21 highly effective online lessons. You're basically going to get access to the lesson. You can watch these online lessons. They're going to be live. All the materials, the vocabulary, the example sentences, native audio, and also Anki flashcard decks, so that you can actually practice the content of the courses on your smartphone anywhere, anytime. Real value, $326. Again, this is what you're going to get. 21 live lessons. You can watch these live lessons online. We're starting the 7th of May. Ebooks with the vocabulary Anki decks and, of course, the native audio. Now, how much would it be worth for you to be able to hold conversation in the language that you want to learn? How much? You know? How much would you pay? If you could just pay the amount now, and then all of a sudden, you're going to be able to speak a new language. How much is it worth for you? Well, we are offering the Spanish, French, and Italian. Actually, here on the slide you see Portuguese, but I'm going to do Italian, of course, next month for $129. So for $129, you're going to get 21 access to 21 live lessons online, the ebooks, learning materials, MP3s with native audio, the Anki deck. And yeah, by the way, in the Italian bootcamp, I'm going to do the Italian bootcamp myself. So you're actually going to be able to see me taking lessons with Lucas. Lucas will be your instructor, Language Boost Lucas. He's going to teach Spanish, French, and Italian in these bootcamps. Now, here in the link, on the bottom of the slide, you can see how you can sign up, languageboost.biz/boostcamps. And there you can find more information about like when the lessons are going to be exactly. Information doesn't change things. In this webinar, we showed our methodology. We showed how we learn language quickly. We talked about the importance of the most important vocabulary, importance of making combinations, goal setting, the importance of seeing quick results. You know, I can give you all this information, but this is not going to change anything for you. If you want to make a change, if you want to learn a new language, you know, eventually you need to undertake action yourself. So I would say go for it. Join us. If you sign up now, we give you a bonus. We give you Vocab Booster Spanish, French, or Italian, depending on which language that you choose, for free. Now, we are selling these courses at the moment for $59 on our website. We're going to give this completely for free if you sign up for our bootcamps now. Okay, and Vocab Booster is a course that you can use after the bootcamps in order to expand your vocabulary. Basically, a good course to follow after you finish the bootcamp. Yes, so Boostcamp Spanish, French, and Italian, 21 highly effective live online lessons plus the replay. So if you miss a lesson, you can always watch it later. The materials, native audio, Anki flashcard decks with the content of the courses, and Vocab Booster, Spanish, French, or Italian, depending on what language that you choose. Today, altogether for $129. Go to languageboost.biz/bootcamps, and you can find all the information there. You have two choices. Number one is to go back to what you were doing and not going to change anything in your learning habits. Then by the end, you're still not going to be able to speak your target language or the language that you want to learn. You can also undertake action now and actually going to see the results in a few weeks from now. What are you gonna do? It's up to you. Our Spanish bootcamp is gonna start on the 8th of May. It's gonna be 2 lessons per week on Tuesday and Thursday, 60 minutes per lesson. Lessons start at 6 p.m. CET. If you can't make it, we will send you the replay. And yeah, the lessons are going to be live. So that's for Spanish. Italian is going to start on Monday, on the 7th, 5 lessons per week. I'm going to do this bootcamp myself as well. Monday until Friday. It's going to be very intensive. Yeah, also 60 minutes per lesson, and lesson starts at 6 p.m. If you sign up for this, you're gonna actually be able to see me learning Italian with Lucas, and you can learn it the exact same way as I'm doing. Sorry, that was Spanish, Italian, yeah. And then there is French, of course, for those who want to learn French. 3 lessons per week on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And the lessons are going to be 8 p.m. CET, Central European Time. It's like Amsterdam, Paris time. Yeah, so if you want to, so here is all the information for all the languages. If you're interested and you want some more information, check it out, languageboost.biz /boost camps, not boot camps, but boost camps. All the information is there. Sign up soon. Only today you will get the bonus. So only if you sign up today, we're gonna send you Vocab Booster completely for free, on top of everything that you're gonna get, and a guarantee as well. If you don't feel that you are getting results in 30 days, you're gonna get your money back. So there is no risk for you. Guys, feel free to let me know if you have any questions. I will keep this slide here, and then I will go back to the chat to see if you guys have any questions for me. Let me just stop sharing my screen. Yes, here I am again. Now, let me see. Welche Sprache is that? Which language is that? He's talking about techniques to learn Spanish, French, and Italian. Greetings from Taiwan. Will you be using Vocal Booth there in order to learn Italian? Or you mean Vocab Boost, Chanel? Yes, but only after I finish the bootcamp. What other resources are you going to use in order to start learning Italian in 21 hours? So in the beginning, I'm only going to do the bootcamp. We really have designed the bootcamp. You know, in the beginning, you don't need any other. Of course, if you want, you can always use additional materials, but the bootcamp is supposed to be the most effective way to learn a language for beginners. So I'm not going to do anything else. I'm only going to focus on the bootcamp. Why are you going to learn Italian? Yeah. Yeah, as I said in the beginning of the presentation, so I've been going to Italy, I've been visiting Italy since I'm a child, at least once per year. And you know, I already do speak Spanish and French, and I just think it's going to be very cool to be able to speak Italian on my next trip. I'm going to put the link in the description where you can find more information about the bootcamps. Let me know if you have more questions for me. Yes, I will stay around for another, let's say, another 15 minutes more or less. All right. I will just put the link in the description here for our sign up for our boost camps. We're next week. Okay, let me see if you guys have more questions for me. Bonjour. Bonjour, Teresa. Ich werde auch Italienisch lernen nach Mai oder Juni, indem ich Deutsch noch lerne. Okay, do you plan to teach English too? No, we don't. We focus on the English speaking market. People who follow us do already speak English in general. No, so we don't have any courses for English. At the moment, we have bootcamps for Spanish, Italian, and French. Those are the languages that we focus on. Greetings from Taiwan. Thank you, Kevin. Greetings to you too. Must be very late in Taiwan. 你这么还没睡觉? Why aren't you sleeping yet? I just said that in Chinese. More questions, guys. Come on. Why are you guys sleeping? I can imagine, by the way, if you are in Taiwan, that like in the time zone where it's very late, you're sleeping. That's okay. I asked a question, Jan. It's just the top of the comments. Okay, let me just scroll through the comments then. Is Duolingo a good tool for beginners in Russian? Francisco. Well, I haven't used Duolingo for Russian, but I have used it for Italian. I'm not a big fan of Duolingo. I think they have great gamification. The website looks great. It's you really get a feeling of accomplishment when you were studying there, basically. But no, I don't think that the things that they are teaching you is very useful for real conversations. Vijay, good evening from Thailand. Good evening. Must be very late. A big ciao from Italy. I want to learn Russian before the World Cup. And then Richard asked, hey there, I'm currently studying Spanish. I'm reading the Ollie Richards book. How can I study grammar? Should I study in context by reading or study the rules from a grammar book? Okay, Richard, this depends a little bit on how you learn, right? Like some people are grammar fans, really like grammar. To those people, I would recommend my grammar books. Me myself, for example, that's not how I can learn languages. I cannot just learn from a grammar book. So it depends a little bit on what your level is. If you're a complete beginner, then I think that our boot camps are perfect for you because we really focus on the most important grammar, and like gradually we start adding new features. So that way you're not even aware that you're learning grammar. You're just doing the translations that you have, adding these new grammatical structures, and you're not really studying the rules. And you're going to be able to use the grammar before you actually realize that you've learned it. So I would, if it were me, if I were you, I would just start. I don't know what your current level is, but if you can already hold conversations, then I would book lessons with online tutors and actually start using the words and the grammatical structures that you know. And if you don't know how to say something, you just ask the teacher how to say it in your target language, in Spanish, and just pay attention to the grammar structure and produce a new sentence using that same grammar structure. And that way, you're not really studying the rules, but you're just imitating, just copying the native speaker. And I find that a more natural way of learning. If you can't hold conversations yet, then I think that courses like the bootcamp that we are organizing are going to be very good for you. But also like Michelle Thomas, those courses really do not really teach you grammar. I mean, they do teach you grammar, but they don't really teach you the rules. You really learn it in a natural way. Also, of course, lots of input can help. So by, for example, reading Ollie's book, and then really, read it once just to enjoy the story, but then also read it twice and focus on the grammatical structures. And then, of course, reproduce these for yourself. Input is one way to learn, but eventually you also need to train your output. So eventually you need to take lessons with a tutor. I'm learning French with you. I really love your method. Okay, that's good to hear, Vijay. Thank you very much. Estoy almorzando mientras estoy viendo este video. Okay. He's eating while watching the video. Currently working on Arabic. Ich werde gerade Deutsch. I already got that one. Aha, thanks from Brazil. Do you have an idea when you might do another Russian bootcamp? Well, we have never done a Russian bootcamp. We would love to create one, but it's going to be very, very tricky to create one. I don't think we can cover all the grammar that we do, all the words in just 21 lessons. You know, like in Russian, you have perfective, imperfective verbs, you have all the cases, the endings change all the time. I think we need more lessons, more or less, for Russian. That's going to be a lot of work, but it's going to be very good for beginners, because nothing like that. There's nothing like that in the market at the moment. Thanks from Brazil. I have an intermediate level in Portuguese and I want to learn Spanish, but I'm afraid to get confused because the languages aren't too similar. Yeah, always a problem studying when you study similar languages. Do I have any tips for that? No, really. I mean, you need a lot of practice. You do already speak Portuguese. Yeah, I think it makes sense, you know, to once you start learning Spanish, you really need to maintain your Portuguese. If you're not going to maintain your Portuguese, then Spanish might eventually overtake it. I think it's doable. I learned Portuguese after Spanish. I was mixing up the languages a lot, but you know, eventually you need to practice both languages in order to become really good at both. You need to create like this personality in both of the languages. There's no shortcut there. I made a video about this recently. No, I'm sorry. You just need to practice both a lot, a lot. How will the hangout schedule? How will be the hangout schedule? You mean for now, for today? Why? I already finished my presentation, but I'm just going to do a few more lessons of Q&A. Is it right that Spanish speakers are able to understand Portuguese speakers without really studying Portuguese? Well, if we have Spanish speakers here, they can comment, but I think that that they are going to be able to understand quite a lot, depending maybe a little bit on the amount of slang that they're using. If it's Brazilian Portuguese or Portuguese from Portugal might be a little bit easier to understand. Thank you, Jan. You're great. How to start? Come stai? Sto bene, grazie. Okay, more questions? Let me know. If you're interested in the boot camps, I'll put the link in the description. Check it out there. We're starting. Here, it doesn't let me post the link. Here is the link. In the description. Yeah, it's working. I cannot post a link in the comments, so you can see the link in the description. Me and my cousin want to learn Brazilian Portuguese this summer. We want to practice together. What would you be recommending to do that? You mean what would I recommend to practice together? Well, first of all, I want to say if you already speak Spanish, I would get, you know, just as in this presentation, I would focus on the most important vocabulary and learn that vocabulary first. You can either do that in our boot camps, in Vocab Booster, maybe Vocab Booster is also a course that you can find on our website. But you know, not necessarily our courses, of course. Just free to choose any learning materials. But I would focus on the most important vocabulary first, learn that, and then actually book lessons with a tutor online. It can be on a website like italki, and where you actually start using these words, start making your own sentences. And you know, as you get better at making your own sentences, eventually you can practice holding conversations. And when you can hold conversations, you can practice with your non-native, with your friend who doesn't speak very good Portuguese, or who's learning Portuguese as well. Well, I would do that at a higher level. Excited to learn Italian with you. Teak? Is that how I pronounce your name? Yeah, that would be cool. I mean, Lucas is going to teach me live on video. And yeah, if you sign up for the bootcamp, you're going to be basically have access to the 21 lessons. After you signed up, I'm actually also gonna give you the opportunity. This is like a higher end program, but I'm gonna give you the opportunity to join me in the lessons. That's gonna be a little bit more expensive. I can give you more information because we're only 3 spots, right? Me and 2 other students. So the price for that program is it's gonna be a little higher. I work a full-time job, and I'm trying to complete learning French and Italian. How can I find the time to learn? Plus, how can I overcome nerves while trying to talk to a native speaker? 2 questions in one. How many hours per week do you work? 40 hours? Yeah, I think it's all about routine. Why not, Mark? Let me ask you the question: How many hours per week are you willing to spend to invest in learning French or Italian? Plus, how can I overcome nerves while trying to talk to a native speaker? I would say by getting lots of speaking practice online with someone you pay. If you pay someone and this person, like for example, a teacher on italki or any other language platform, like this person knows that you're learning the language, he's going to be very patient. And of course, that's a great place to gain confidence. Once you have the confidence, it's going to be easier to talk to native speakers in real life. So I do not really think there's a shortcut there. Another thing you can do is, who is this native speaker? Is this a stranger that you meet on the streets? Is this a colleague? Is this a friend? Normally, because when I approach someone sometimes I'm nervous as well when I'm speaking, I don't know, a language that I'm not very good at, Cantonese or Russian, with a native speaker. I always try to stay relaxed and smile so that they can actually see, this guy is actually learning a language, he's having fun. Then you don't get this tense situation. Mark says about 5.5 hours. That's enough, man. I mean, that's enough to do. That means like 1 hour every weekday. Why not schedule a lesson every day during the week on a website like italki? Also depends a little bit on your current level. Are you a beginner? Are you advanced? But I think it's just a matter of organizing your time, and maybe book a package with the teacher so that you have this personal commitment. Because if you don't have any commitment, it's easier to procrastinate. How does one avoid translating into the L1? What is L1? Language number 1? Okay, it's already 8 o'clock here. Has been 1 hour. I think that was it for today. Well, I invite all of you to join our boot camps, Spanish, French, and Italian. We're gonna start next week on the 7th and the 8th of May. If you want more information about these programs and how you can join me learning Italian, then check the link in the description, languageboost.biz/bootcamp. Sorry, Boostcamps. You can see it. You can see the link in the description below. That was it for now. I wish you all a happy weekend, and yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Thank you for being here with me. It was fun. Ciao, ciao.